A lot of rappers have had their fair share of run-ins with gangs and goons, and sometimes things get real dangerous, like the time Rick Ross got swung at in Canada. But every now and then, these so-called tough guys think they can punk the wrong rapper, only to end up getting a reality check, like that one time with DaBaby.
Like I say, with all the little youngins out there, that's cool. Well, they're cool. Hey, well, they're cool. They ain't fuck with me, but I ain't signing no permission slip nowhere. That ain't what I do.
But it still keeps happening to many rappers, from Snoop Dogg publicly shutting down some entitled goons.
All you is talking that about Snoop can't come to the hood, he can't do this. I can do whatever I like when I like. Second of all, you is 50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz?
To MC Hammer putting a gang member in his place.
Basically, he came with Hammer like, hey man, it's LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You need to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. Hammer said, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there, and 4 or 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
These are the moments when goons seriously underestimated legendary rappers. Let's start with DJ Quick. Rapper Problem once shared a story about a time when Corrupt brought some wannabe gang member into their studio.
You remember that? You remember that day I got Corrupt brought that nigga to the studio and he cuts. Oh, that nigga I was getting.
Let me tell it, cause he gonna do it that way.
Instead of just chilling and respecting the space, this dude started walking around like he was some kind of big shot, disrespecting DJ Quick in the process.
Walks in there, he like, what's happening? Hey, what's happening? He go to him. What's up, cuz? What's happening? Oh, wow.
Now, Quick is a real blood, so that was a huge mistake. Problem said Quick was minding his business at first, but the second he caught wind of the disrespect, he shut it down immediately.
The board, he's at the board talking oscullators. Can I get the compression up to the thing? And he caught a look and he that blood, who you cousin? I said. Song that he ever made was flashing on my face like, oh my God, it's for real. Cause I done kill this. Not what it is.
Apologize too, cause I was about to take his. That's disrespect. It ain't got nothing to do with no gang.
And when Corrupt found out what happened, he wasn't having it either. He checked the guy and made him apologize to Quick.
I'm at home, and he checked back. He checked him in the car, drove him back up there, said, "You better apologize to Uncle Quick right now, cuz, or it's more than that you got to worry about, cuz. I swear to God."
Next up is Eminem. Back in 2003, Eminem teamed up with the legendary Booyah Tribe on their single 911.
DJ Muggs, Soul Assassins, Cypress Hill.
But this wasn't just your average rap collab, it had way more layers to it. For those who might not know, the Booyah Tribe wasn't just a hip-hop group. They were deeply tied to the Samoan gangs of Los Angeles.
We all got some gangsta this Saturday, man.
What? Regulated. Never.
And if you're familiar with gang culture, you'd know that the Sons of Samoa are no joke. They might come across as chill and easygoing, but when provoked, they're known to snap, and the consequences can be deadly.
Did you catch this? 100% Samoan.
Back in 2020, Booyah Tribe's nephew, Monsta Gunja, revealed that back in the day, his uncles weren't just rappers. They were also working as security for Eminem.
And didn't they do security for Eminem a little bit when M used to come out to the West Coast? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Turns out, Slim Shady was being extorted by the Los Angeles Crips. This kind of extortion even has a name: checking in.
He was getting extorted by some Crips.
Who, Paul Rosenberg was,
or
or
Eminem was getting extorted by some Crips.
Essentially, when a rapper or celebrity travels to a city, especially one with a heavy gang presence like Los Angeles, they're often expected to check in with the local gangs or street bosses.
You better check in. Mad I'm gangster. Straight up.
But the Booyah Tribe came through for Eminem. They stepped in, protected him, and in return, got a feature on that track.
Phone calls were made, and then that's how the feature came about.
This might also explain why Eminem never seemed scared of Suge Knight. Take, for example, the time when 50 Cent was filming the music video for In Da Club. Out of nowhere, someone yelled, "Suga Knight is here." That single sentence threw the entire set into chaos. Suga showed up with about 30 men, reportedly members of a Mexican gang.
This is why I always respected Eminem, 50, and with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican. We from New York. You ain't never seen a tattoo on his forehead. He liked the cigar, and he trying to see what you gonna do. So Eminem, 50, everybody outside.
Amidst this tension, Eminem was also present at the video shoot. True to form, Eminem did not back down.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real 50 what's up?
Then there's the story from the 2001 Source Awards. Normally, artists could have their bodyguards nearby at these events, but for some reason, the rules that night required bodyguards to sit separately from the artists.
The way they had it set up, the bodyguards could not sit with their artists. You had to stand off to the side.
According to Eminem's former bodyguard, Big Naz, M ended up surrounded by a group of intimidating guys wearing red shirts, a clear signal they were affiliated with the Bloods.
And M was cut off on his way to his seat, and all these guys in red shirts surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face, and I'm looking at these guys.
Big Naz quickly realized something was off and sprinted across the venue to get to Eminem. He said it was obvious these guys had been sent by Suge.
You see all these guys talking about death row, death row, death row, death row. So by the time I cut in, I step in front of M, I push the guys back. I'm like, yo, what the on here, man? I was like, death row, what does it got to do with him? He said, hey, man, Suge sent him a message.
However, despite all this tension, it's highly likely that if Suge Knight had ever laid a hand on Eminem, he would have faced serious consequences. Thanks to Eminem's connection to the Samoan gang, a group even Suge was known to tread carefully around.
I was like, what's up? Suge Knight scared of you. Suge Knight scared of you. Everyone I talked to, they, man, is Suge really this, really that? I was like,
but
I'm Samoan, man. I don't give I don't care. You King Kong, you Godzilla, you gonna get
Yes, sir. Next up is MC Hammer, and he is no joke. Anyone who's ever crossed him will tell you that firsthand.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No, 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 no. MC Hammer was there. That me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Sure, he had the flashy dance moves, the parachute pants, and a style that didn't exactly scream tough guy. But behind all that, Hammer had real street cred. He was well connected, highly respected, and backed by a crew that didn't play around.
Oh, his entourage was something like I never seen in my life. Like it was literally
100 people.
More than 100 people.
Benito, one of Hammer's vocalists, shared an incident from back in the day. After an event in Los Angeles, Hammer and his crew were packing into their vans to head back to the hotel when they noticed a familiar face rolling up, Michael Concepcion, one of the original founders of the Crips.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins are all Crips in LA. So I'm like, that's some gangbangers. What they doing out here? You're like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer.
Michael told Hammer they needed to talk. Basically, he offered Hammer protection while he was in LA, warning him that anything could happen in the city.
You're like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer. Now, the thing is, Mike already knew who Hammer was because they did the video. We were on the same gang before. So basically, he came at Hammer like, hey, man, it's LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection.
Hammer was taken aback by the whole thing and asked why he'd need protection when he had his own squad of bodyguards. 12 of them, in fact. And these guys weren't your average security detail. Some of them were straight-up killers. So, Hammer wasn't feeling like he needed Michael's help.
I was like, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there, and for 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
Michael didn't seem to like Hammer's response and kept pushing, saying Hammer should watch his back.
For real though, man, you need to holler at me, man. If you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. He said, what you trying to say? He said, you need to go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, start strangling on me, nigga.
That's when things got heated. Hammer's bodyguards were ready to handle the situation right then and there, but Hammer held them back. Instead, he made it clear to Michael that one phone call from him could shut the whole thing down. Hammer wasn't bluffing either. The next morning, Michael actually came back to apologize, showing just how much respect Hammer commanded.
People looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call and all this will go away. And Hammer said, what's up, man? He said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew or whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good, we cool, we good. And Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
Next up is Snoop Dogg. After he blew up, his own crew, the Long Beach Crips, started feeling some type of way. They thought Snoop wasn't doing enough for them. He kept repping and name-dropping the set, but they claimed he wasn't giving back. One specific incident that really rubbed them the wrong way was brought up by a Crip from Long Beach named Flossie. According to him, one of the homies had opened up a new restaurant in the hood, and it was quickly becoming a popular spot. Since Snoop had the platform and the influence, they reached out, hoping he could invest in the business or at least promote it on his Instagram to help it gain even more traction.
My homeboy Kenneth had a little soul food restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And I was hanging around and the homies was hanging up there until this was beginning to be the spot. So the homies was like, they was getting Snoop, you don't want Snoop to invest in it, we you to put no money up, put us out there.
But instead of supporting, Snoop reportedly brushed them off. Flossie claimed that Snoop acted like they were just looking for a handout, like they were always expecting him to give them money, when that wasn't the case at all.
I'm hearing all this sidebar chatter that Snoop, and I'm reading texts back and forth with Snoop to the homies, and he talking to homies like we peasants or something, like he gonna make the world think depend on him for money.
Then came the rumors. Word started spreading that Snoop had been straight up banned from his old neighborhood. The story was that he pulled up to Long Beach with 3 or 4 cars full of security, but instead of being welcomed, he was rejected. The gang wasn't showing him any love, and supposedly, they had made it clear that he wasn't one of them anymore. Naturally, this didn't sit right with Snoop. He wasn't about to let people spread stories like that without addressing it. In a video response, he shut down the rumors, saying none of that ever happened. According to him, it was just a bunch of bitter gang members trying to stir up drama because he was focusing on mentoring young talent instead of associating with them.
50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz? You mad at me, cuz? Cause I won't help you no more? Cause I can't do nothing to help you no more? Cause I'm focused on helping out the kids, but mad and jealous at me because of what I'm doing? Trying to blemish my name and my character?
A lot of people, especially those from Long Beach, had Snoop's back on this one. They argued that if it wasn't for Snoop, Long Beach wouldn't have the recognition it has today. To them, this whole situation just boiled down to jealousy.
Snoop had been away from the city, but at the same time, he also gave back in many ways. But you always gonna have haters when you poppin'.
He don't own nobody's shit, but and he was doing for the youth. He been doing, his football league been around, but people don't look at it like
his football league done got mothers happy and sons out the hood.
He real for that because he grown himself. He had to work for what he got right now and all that, So for another man to say they ain't give him no handouts out here, we grown out here too. Put my hand out there. I'm not, all that, you feel me?
If it wasn't for him,
so any Snoop can't go back to the hood and all that there, you feel me? Because Snoop got money.
Next up is Waka Flocka Flame. Back in 2010, Waka was shooting a music video with Gucci Mane, just doing his thing, when suddenly this dude shows up on the set and starts yelling all sorts of crazy stuff at him. Now, Waka had apparently stepped on some toes because some locals weren't too thrilled about him being in their neighborhood. There's actually a video shot by WorldStarHipHop.com where you can see this guy walking up to the video shoot, just hurling insults at Waka Flocka. It turns out these two had some beef in the past, and the guy wasn't happy about seeing Waka on his turf. If you watch the video, you'll notice the dudes rolling up on Waka are all rocking the Crips' signature blue, making it pretty clear where their affiliations lie. Things got heated fast, and for a moment it looked like Waka and the guy were about to throw down right there on the set. But thankfully, nothing major went down, and it didn't turn into a full-blown fight.
I'm the one that beat you. I'm the one that beat you. Yeah, I'm the one that beat you. You know what? I need Chico. This boy on
Crips shit, man.
This shit way bigger than this, bro.
Still, after that whole incident, Waka wasn't bothered at all. He didn't even flinch. But that didn't stop those Crip guys. They kept coming after Waka, going off on him multiple times after that.
He got the black guy on there. This the black guy I put on it. I put the black guy on the. You feel me? You see it? Blogger, he's. I don't pay for your, but I tie it up. This what I do, ho. You don't get no respect in my hood, boy.
And then there was the time Spiderlock and some Crips members went after Lil Wayne's security. It all started when Lil Wayne was featured on Shawty Lo's Day No remix, and Lil Wayne apparently took a shot at the Crips.
And he had a lyric that said, "Suwu gang, if you ain't with that, you from the food chain." Calling them food chain. Food chain, I'm thinking about school, the ocean, and you know what you find in the ocean. I thought he was sneak dissing.
According to Spiderlock, Lil Wayne came over to Spiderlock's location, where he had a studio, to shoot a music video with T-Pain. Instead of Spiderlock getting the opportunity to talk with Lil Wayne one-on-one to find out if the song was a diss or not, Spiderlock ended up being with a large group of individuals.
He came to shoot a video with T-Pain, and instead of me getting an opportunity to approach him one-on-one, I ended up being with a large group of individuals.
Things were about to get rough because they intended to attack Lil Wayne's cars and security, but thankfully, they heard a police siren and dispersed.
We counted the SUVs. We kind of approached the SUVs with intentions to do quite a few things. I think we heard one siren off in the distance, and that's all it took. We was out of there.
And this wasn't the only time Crips members would try to threaten Lil Wayne.
Black Diamond. G, close that door, G. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Wayne. What's up, I'm Big Magic, cuz. What's happening? You better check in. Magic. Gangster, nigga. Crip. Straight up, man. Crip, man. Straight up, man. Crip.
And then there's Charleston White, who never holds back when it comes to speaking his mind. Charleston has been very vocal about refusing to check in with any gang. He's even said in interviews that Los Angeles has claimed more rappers' lives than any other city in America, and a lot of those deaths come from silly stuff, like not checking in.
LA done killed more rappers than any city in America. LA is known for killing rappers. Rappers should run from LA.
He's not shy about calling out the craziness of the whole checking in concept, making it clear that he thinks it's just a way for these gangs to exert control and intimidate people.
I'm a black man in America, and I swear up and down as a black man that the white man is holding me down. His systematic institutional racism is keeping me down, his mass incarceration. When I flip the coin over, I got on the same thing to me. I got saying, if I come to this white man's city that he live in, I gotta come check in.
Because of his outspoken criticism, a lot of gang members can't stand him. They've even gone so far as to ban him from entering LA. But if you know Charleston White, you know that didn't stop him one bit. Instead, he doubled down, going on social media live streams, throwing insults, and calling them out even more aggressively.
Death to all Crips and Bloods. Death to all GDs and BDs. May they all die like King Von. May they all die like Drakeo the Ruler. Death to all gangbangers. Death to all gangbangers. We killing Crips. Boom, 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 boom. We killing Bloods. Can't find me. Yeah, they come there late. They kicking my feet up. Looking out the pretty window right there.
Next up is the basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Shaq was a beast on the court and is still considered one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Back in the summer of 1996, when Shaq was a free agent after leaving the Orlando Magic, everyone was wondering where he'd go next. It didn't take long before he signed a massive 7-year deal worth $120 million with the Los Angeles Lakers. This move was a game changer, and Shaq didn't just have success, he dominated. From 2000 to 2002, he led the Lakers to 3 straight NBA championships and was named the Finals MVP each time. But what many people don't know is that during his time in LA, Shaq actually got tight with a notorious gang known as the Main Street Mafia Crips. The Main Street Mafia Crips are based on the east side of South Central LA, and they're known for making serious money moves. Shaq got especially close to a high-ranking member named Ladell Rose, aka Del Dog. Del Dog was a hustler through and through. He had his hands in multiple businesses, owned homes and flashy cars, and even had the first Rolls-Royce in South Central. He was also deep in the entertainment world, rubbing shoulders with big names like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, and Steve Harvey.
You go to a guy like Dale when you got a problem and say, look, man, I'm having a problem. I can't get this done because this guy's over here doing this. I can't get this done because that guy's doing that.
Shaq and Del Dog, along with other Main Street members, formed a strong bond. Shaq got protection and street credibility, while Main Street got business deals and industry connections through him. For a while, things were smooth. Shaq was reaping the benefits of his association with Main Street, and the gang was cashing in too. But then, things started to go south. Shaq and his business partner Mark Stevens owned a record label called Deja, and they had an agreement with a Main Street member named Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox. The deal was that Stutterbox would get a 50% cut of the profits for every artist he brought to the label. Stutterbox claimed he brought Ray J to the label, but he got cut out of the deal, which created bad blood between him and Shaq. While Shaq remained cool with Del Dog and other Main Street members, Stutterbox was still feeling some type of way and wanted what he thought was his due. So he decided to blackmail Shaq. Apparently, Shaq had been bringing women to Stutterbox's house and having relations with them, all while he was still married to his wife, Shawnee. Stutterbox had security cameras all over his place and claimed to have caught Shaq in the act on tape in July of 2007. He threatened to release the footage unless Shaq paid up. Things escalated quickly. On February 11th, 2008, Del Dog and some other Main Street members cornered Stutterbox at a Pink Dot convenience store on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. They rolled up on him, guns drawn, and forced their way into his Rolls-Royce. They made him drive to Del Dog's house in South Central, and once there, Del Dog pistol-whipped him, demanding the tape and $100,000. Stutterbox promised to get the tape and bring it back to them, but the crew wasn't taking any chances. They took his Rolex, his diamond chain, his earrings, and $15,000 in cash before letting him go. After the beatdown, Stutterbox went straight to the police. He showed up at the 77th Street Division station with a bloody face and torn up clothes, telling the cops everything that had gone down. As a result, all 7 of the Main Street guys were hit with charges for robbery, kidnapping, assault, and conspiracy. Stutterbox didn't just stop at reporting the attack. He went all in, implicating Shaq by claiming that Del Dog and the other Main Street guys were acting on Shaq's orders. He even told investigators that when he and Shaq were on better terms, Shaq had asked him and his crew to do all kinds of dirty work. He mentioned some pretty wild stuff, like Shaq allegedly wanting them to kill a member of the downtown gangster Crips because this guy had disrespected Shaq in front of his wife, Shawnee. And that wasn't all. Stutterbox claimed Shaq also wanted them to kill a woman he had once gotten pregnant. And if that wasn't enough, Stutterbox even said Shaq asked them to break an NBA player's shooting arm. He basically painted a picture of Shaq as this puppet master pulling strings behind the scenes, asking for some really extreme favors. At that time, Shaq and Shawnee were going through a messy divorce, and things were getting even more complicated. Stutterbox claimed he started seeing Shawnee romantically, and Shaq found out because he had hired a private investigator to follow them. This, according to Stutterbox, only fueled Shaq's anger towards him and might have been the reason Shaq allegedly wanted him kidnapped and assaulted. But when all this came to light, both Shaq and his business partner Mark Stevens denied knowing anything about the attacks. Shaq insisted that while he had met a few Main Street members during community events like toy drives in South Central, he didn't have any deep personal connections with them. Meanwhile, the FBI was already building a case against the Main Street Mafia Crips. They had wiretaps on Del Dog's phone and heard him talking to Mark about how Stutterbox had flipped and was now cooperating with the cops. They also pulled phone records showing multiple calls between Mark and Del Dog around the time of the assault on Stutterbox. Despite all this, neither Shaq nor Mark were ever charged in connection with the case. Stutterbox later admitted to the investigators that he was bluffing about having a tape of Shaq cheating. He explained that the security camera at his house only recorded in cycles, and the footage he claimed to have no longer existed. During the trial, Stutterbox took the stand against the other Main Street members, detailing the attack on him. But the defense didn't waste any time going after his credibility. They brought up his lengthy criminal record and labeled him a liar, using his bogus claim about the tape as proof that he couldn't be trusted. In the end, Del Dog and the others were found not guilty of all charges. Fast forward to July 2011. Stutterbox decided to sue Shaq for failing to honor what he called an oral contract and for allegedly having him assaulted. But the lawsuit didn't go anywhere. It got dismissed because he filed it after the statute of limitations had expired. Things took another turn on July 8, 2015, when Del Dog was tragically shot and killed around 11:30 p.m. near the intersection of Broadway and Century Boulevard.